Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. This video I'd like to show you part 4 of Charlotte's Universe. That's these bands here, these rows with the red, the purple and the pink. Charlotte's Universe has been designed by Deidre Ouse from Look at What I Made. A link to the pattern is in the video description. Now I'll be taking you step by step through these rounds. The yarn that I'm using is Scheepjes Stonewashed yarn, and in the video description there's a link to my blog where you can find exactly which color I'm using for which round. Now let's get started. Round 37. I'm going to start in any corner stitch. You have there the chain space, and I have a new color yarn on my hook. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. So yarn over, hold on to the loop, and in the chain 2 corner space work a standing double crochet. Then another double in the same space, chain 2 and 2 more doubles. So this is a normal corner. 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles, and there we go. Now we're going to work a double crochet on every stitch for the entire edge, and especially the first stitch. Be sure that little single crochet there, be sure to see the first one, and continue like this all the way around. So work a double crochet on every stitch. When you get to the corner, you work a new corner, which is going to be 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles, so exactly like this corner here. Double on every stitch all the way around, close on your first stitch, that's that standing double with a slip stitch, and then you can also fasten off. Round 38, I have a new color yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in any chain 2 corner space with a standing half double. Yarn over, in any chain 2 corner space make a half double, then chain 2, and in the same corner space another half double, and that's your first corner. Half double, chain 2, half double. On the edge we're going to work a back post double crochet on every stitch, and especially this first one can be just a little tricky. Yarn over, come around, so it's basically through the chain 2 space around the post of that first stitch, and work a double crochet. And then the second one, and this isn't so much of a difficult round as it is a slow round, because all these back post stitches, they just take time. So I'm going to work a back post double crochet on every stitch till you're to the corner. And when you're in the corner, it's again a half double, chain 2 and a half double. Go all the way around, working these back post doubles. Go all the way around, and when you've come back to the first stitch, close on that stitch with the slip stitch, and you can also fasten off. Round 39, I have a new color yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in any chain 2 corner space. I'm going to start there with a standing double crochet in that space. There you go. Followed by another double, chain 2 and 2 double crochet. So this is a corner you've made before, so 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles. On the straight edge, going to work a double crochet on every stitch, and especially this first one here can be hard to see. See, this is the first stitch, but see how the corner falls over it, so especially the first stitch, be mindful of this one. So just open up a bit, see, there's the first stitch. That's the first double, and then continue work a double crochet on every stitch till you're to the next corner. And when you're in the corner, work the same corner as you've just done, so 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles, and then work the next edge again, always remembering that first little stitch, because the half doubles, they tend to disappear under the corner. When you get to the first stitch, here your standing stitch, join on there with a slip stitch and leave your yarn attached. Round 40, I'm going to continue with the same color yarn. I'm currently in this first standing stitch from round 39. We're going to start by just moving to the chain 2 corner space. So we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and slip stitch into the chain space. There you go. Now we're ready to really start the round. I'm going to work the first corner. I'm going to start with a chain 3. That's your first double, and then another double crochet in the corner. So that's basically 2 doubles. Then we work chain 2 and 2 more doubles. 1 and another one, which is 2. So that's your first corner made. We're going to work along the edge a small little unit that we're going to be repeating a few times. I'm going to start the first repeat. Here in the very first stitch, again, just move it to the side to see that stitch. Work a double crochet. So you're immediately going to start the repeat. This is the double crochet. 1 double. We're going to skip the next stitch and then come to the stitch after. And in this one stitch, we're going to work 3 stitches. So skip the 1 stitch, and then at the second stitch, work a double crochet, a half double in the same position, and a single crochet in the same position. We're now going to skip 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2 stitches skip, and then here in the third stitch we're going to do the same as what we just did, but in reverse order. So 1, 2 skip, come to the third, here work a single crochet, a half double in that same position, and a double crochet in that same position. So this kind of brings these stitches a little bit together. You see there, here they kind of dip together. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch. Really remember to skip this stitch, because this one's insanely easy to forget. And then come to the second stitch and work 1 double. And this here is the full repeat. So we're going to do this, we're going to make a few more sets, 11 more sets we're going to be making. I'll show you the repeat again. So in the next stitch, a double crochet. So that means you've got 2 doubles here next to one another, but this double is from the previous repeat and this double is from the next repeat. So a double crochet. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, this one, and in the following stitch work the 3. So that was, in this case, a double, then a half double, and then a single, all in the same stitch. Skipping 2 stitches, come to the third, so 1, 2, skip, come to the third, and work a single, a half double, and a double crochet. Again, skip 1 stitch, remember to skip this stitch, and then 1 double crochet. And that was the second repeat. So here, this was the second repeat. Now you're going to do this 10 more times, and then you'll be to the other side and you'll have done 12 of these. I'll just see you when you've got 1 more repeat left. I'm almost to the end of the edge. I've done this repeat now, well, 11 times already, so I've got one more to do. And I just need to fold my work a little bit here because it's getting a bit larger. So one more repeat. So this is the double crochet from the previous repeat. So that means one double in the next stitch. Then skip one stitch and come to the stitch after and work a double, a half double and a single. Skipping two stitches, come to the third stitch and work a single, and it kind of pinches these stitches together. Single, half double and a double. There should be two stitches left at this point. You're going to skip the next stitch, skipping the stitch, and in the very last stitch falls the last double crochet of this repeat. And if this doesn't work out, there's a good chance that you somewhere, for example, have only one double crochet instead of two next to each other. Then you'll have one stitch left here, whereas you should have 0 stitches left. So that's an easy place to make a mistake, or you did not skip this stitch here after or before the double crochet. So those are easy. A mistake will be somewhere around there. The corner, the same corner as we started with, 2 doubles in the chain space, chain 2 and 2 more doubles, 1 and 2. And this corner is the same as the corner we started with. So everything on this edge repeats on your next 3 edges also, all your corners. And when you come to your first stitch, here on the chain 3, close on that 3rd chain with a slip stitch. So indeed, so insert your hook there, catching those 2 loops. Insert your hook close with a slip stitch, and then you can also fasten off your yarn. Round 41, a new color yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in any chain 2 corner space. To start in there with a standing single crochet. I'm just going to move it to the side and then work 2 more single crochets in the same space. So 1 and 2. So now you have 3 single crochets here. We're going to mark the second one of these 3. You're just going to mark it with a stitch marker, and you're going to leave that stitch marker until later on. So for the time being, you're really going to leave this one here. So marking the 3rd stitch, or the second of the 3 stitches. This is the corner. Now we're ready for the edge. I'm going to start the repeat by working a half double in the first stitch. So in the first stitch, a half double, and in the next stitch, a double crochet. We're now going to work a double crochet between the next 2 stitches, and that means we don't go into the stitch here like we normally would, underneath the little V, but we're going to go between them. So here between the posts, you see where I'm opening that up in there. That's where you're going to be making the double crochet. So yarn over, so really between those 2 posts. That means the stitch is a bit deeper than before. So you can see the double crochet. And you can see how this one is just slightly a bit deeper than the others. And now we're going to work a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to make a split 3 treble bobble. Now it's not as bad as it sounds. Here in this little opening, you see this space here where I'm poking my needle in, my pinky comes through. Through that space we're going to work half of the stitch pattern, and then you're going to come to the other side of these 6 stitches. Here's another natural opening. You're going to pick that one. So in these 2 openings you're going to be working. We're going to work a 3 treble bobble but not complete it. That means twice over. I'm going to start with twice over because for a treble. Then in this natural opening here, insert your hook, draw up a loop, take off 2, take off 2, and stop. That was the first leg of the 3 treble. So again, twice over, in the same space, insert your hook, take off 2, take off 2. Again, stop, and we do it a third time, yarn over twice, take off 2, take off 2, and stop. So now you have 3 of these legs in that natural opening you have there. You're going to come to the other side, so you've got this little dip here of these 6 stitches. Going to come to the other side of that, and there, here are my pinkies again poking through. We're going to repeat the same as this here. So these 3 treble bobble not completed, going to repeat it here. So again, 2 times yarn over in this natural opening here, take off 2 loops, take off 2 loops, and stop. Again, twice over, and insert into that same space, take off 2, take off 2, stop, and a third time, twice over, insert in that same space, take off 2, take off 2, and stop. At this point you have 7 loops on your hook. 3 from this treble, 3 from that treble bobble, and then of course your starting working loop. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull through all of these in one go. And that's easiest that as you're pulling through, that you push your hook upwards so that it really rides on the top, against the top of those loops from the inside. Then you've got the least chance that your hook will snag something along the way. And bring them all nicely together, because then you're also going to get that stitch nice and tight. So yarn over, and as I'm pulling through, I'm just pushing a little bit up. So yarn over and pull through. Now that wasn't so bad, was it? Now chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see this is half of the flower petal. And now we're going to make a double crochet between these 2 doubles. You see these 2 doubles you have here, they're like a pair. Now in between those 2, exactly in the middle, going to work a double. And again, between them, so your stitch really goes a bit deeper, so totally between the 2 posts. If you open it up in there, and complete the double crochet. There you go. Now starting here from the chain 3 right up to this double crochet, I'm going to do this 12 times in total. Now I've just done 1, so you need to do 11 more. I'll show you the repeat once more, and then you're going to repeat that until you're almost to the end. So we do this again. So we start with a chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and you'll notice this was a chain 5, this is a chain 3. It's not symmetrical. That's correct. Now don't worry about that, it'll be fine. Now here again, in this opening, this natural opening you have there, you're going to work the first half of these 3 treble stitches. So twice over, take off 2 loops, take off 2 loops, twice over again. This is the second leg, going a little faster, twice over, and this is the third leg. Now do it again, twice over, and come to the other side of this little dip here, that into your next natural opening. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now you again have 7 loops on your hook, yarn over and take them all off in one go. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see here half the flower petals, and again come between these two doubles, that they are like a pair here in the middle. Work a double crochet between the stitches. There we go. Now I've just done this repeat twice. You need to do 10 more, and then you'll be almost to the end. So repeat this 10 more times. So that was a repeat, and this was a repeat. Do it 10 more times, and then I'll see you back for the last few stitches. I'm almost to the end here. Here I've done the last repeat. This is the chain 5, and now I still need to make the double crochet that goes along with the repeat. And you're going to make that between, because here you don't have a pair, but here you have 3 double crochets between the first and the second one. So in between there, work that what I'm going to call a deep double crochet, so between the two. At this point you have 2 stitches left. The last stitch here, but also this stitch here, that because you've not worked into that stitch, but you've worked between the two. So this stitch here, this second last stitch, work a double in it. So, and you're going to have to push the stitch that you just made a bit to the side, that you can really see that stitch. So there's a double crochet, and then the last stitch gets a half double. There you go. And now we're to the corner. In the corner, 3 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And here again we're going to mark the center one of the 3 with a stitch marker, just like we did on the first corner. Also here, mark the stitch and leave the stitch marker for the time being. We'll use it again later. So this is just to find the corner stitch later on. Now this corner is of course exactly the same as the corner we started with. So that means everything you've done with all these repeats, repeat this on your other 3 edges also. And when you get to the first stitch, close with a slip stitch, and then you can also fasten off your yarn. Round 42, I have also the same color yarn on my hook, but we're going to start in a different position, so that's why we cut our yarn. Here's the corner stitch that's marked. If you go forward, this is the last double crochet before the chain space. I'm going to start here with a standing front post single crochet in that stitch. And there we go. We're now going to work a treble bobble in the eye of this flower. If you look closely, you see here's the flower, and that little, there's like, if I just open it, you see there that little hole. We're going to work into that. Well, I'm going to call it an eye. And what's also important is we're going to be working in front of the chain 5 space, because naturally when you stick your hook in there, you're going to want to do this, and then you're going to end up with your hook underneath the chain 5 space. You don't want that. You're going to work like this, so the chain 5 is underneath your hook, and then your stitches look more neat. So twice over into that little loop. Like I say, make sure that the chain 5 space is behind your hook. Take off 2 loops twice, and yarn over twice again into the same stitch. Again, make sure the chain 5 space is behind your hook. Take off 2, take off 2, and we do that again into the same eye. Take off 2, take off 2, 4 loops on your hook, take them all off. Now, that was the first treble bobble. We're now going to maybe do something weird. I'm going to come to the back here, and you see here exactly to the back there's a chain 3 space. This chain 3, it's a bit to your front, to the front of your work. So you're going to have to fold your work a little bit back, and there in that space work a single crochet. and that secures this flower petal to the side, that it doesn't flop forward. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now in this eye we're going to make another treble bobble. So twice over, and again be sure to stay in front of the chain 5 space, but it's going to be more natural now because it'll be standing a bit to the back anyway. So that's 1, 2, 3 times, and then take them all off. Chain 5, that's important. So here was a chain 4, now we're doing a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we do another treble bobble in the same position. So twice over, and it's getting very full in there. So you're going to have to make space for a few more stitches. Again, three legs, and we take them all off. There we go. So now you can see how you filled up this flower. Going to work a front post single crochet around the double that you have here right in the middle. Going to work a front post single around that stitch. There we go. And that completes the repeat. Now this is the first flower, and on the first flower of every edge you should mark the second petal that you just made, and that's the one here at the top. If you look here at the top, you see that opening there? Opening, that's the stitch. So I'm just going to insert a stitch marker in there. So the first one on every edge, we're just going to mark that one. Now this was the repeat. You're going to do this on all of these flowers. I'll show you the repeat once more. I'm going to start. So this is the second repeat I'm doing with you now. So we're going to start by working a treble bobble in the next eye, and that's going to be there. My hook stuck there in that eye. So twice over, insert your hook, and again be sure that the chain 5 space is below your hook. It can also help just fold it to the back, then you know that you can't work over it. That's 1, and this is 2 and 3, and then you take them all off. You see I've got my hook stuck in here, and you take them all off. There we go. Now we're going to fold our work and head to the back. So here, there's the chain 3 space. It's a bit to the right of your work if you're right-handed, to the left if you're left-handed. And in there, work a single crochet. And again, that secures this flower petal to the side, that you don't pull it forward. Chain 4, this is important, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only a chain 4 here because you've already got that single crochet there. That's why you need one chain less. Now in the same eye, work another treble bobble, so twice over. So 1, 2, and 3, then take them all off. There we go. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another flower petal, so again a treble bobble, a 3 treble bobble. That's 1, 2, and 3, and take them all off. Now you can see you've completed the second flower petal, and we're going to finish this again by working a front post single crochet here around the double, a front post single around that stitch. There you go. And this was the full second repeat. And this is a slow round and it's a yarn eating round, but continue, and when you've worked all of these you're going to end up here on your last flower petal. When you've worked the last treble on this last petal, I'll see you back for these last 2 stitches. Now I've just worked the last flower petal on this edge, and now I still need to work the front post single. I'm going to work that around the first double crochet. See here the series of stitches before the corner. Around that first double crochet, work the front post single. There we go. We're now going to do a chain 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to skip this entire corner. I'm just going to rotate my work, and then come to the last double crochet on the other side, and that's the one before the chain 3 space here, and work a front post single in this stitch. There we go. And this chain space, I'm just going to pop it to the back. And this front post single, which is here in the stitch before the chain space, is exactly the same as the stitch we started with. That means here on the next flower, we're going to complete this flower, and that's the one you should mark again, because this is again the same as here where we started. So that's front post single is the same as that one. So you're going to work this first flower and then mark that stitch here at the top, and then work the second and the third. So you're going to repeat all of that on this edge. Go all the way around, and after you've completed your last front post single, chain 6 and then close on this first stitch with a slip stitch, and you can also fasten off. And when you're all finished, work away your last yarn tails, and this is what your work looks like at the end of part 4. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you back soon when we do part 5.